it's me again. One of these days, maybe I'll remember to say my name, but you know it, don't you? So it's not necessary. If we can get through this without the kids interrupting, it'll be a miracle. The locals are restless today. But I, I just, I'm still kind of, I don't talk about this online just because it makes me feel weird. I have weird issues with decorum and with what's appropriate. But son of a bitch, Eddie Van Halen just died. I don't talk about how much music means to me and what it's meant to my formative years very much, just because I have a lot of experience with kind of douchey guys wanting to talk over me about it or tell me how wrong I am about certain opinions, so I stopped talking. But this one freaking hurts. Yeah. Bye, Eddie. Anyway, I am here today to talk about Thomas Harris's fourth book in the Hannibal series, Hannibal Rising. Full disclosure, if you have not read this book and you want to read this book, this is going to be spoilery. I'm going to go for it, so you may not want to watch this. Before you go, when I finished this book, I went and I read reviews on it, like on Goodreads. I usually don't do that, which is weird. I don't put a whole lot of stock in reviews as a whole, unless I'm buying like a large appliance. When it comes to books and stuff, I'm very lucky that I have a circle of people whose taste that I trust. So when they say, this book is good, you should check it out, I'm going to check out that book. So that's how it usually works for me. Further evidence that word of mouth is extremely important when it comes to books. So if you read a book that you enjoyed, talk about it, please. I don't care whose it is. If you read a book you love, tell people. Get that author shown, get that work put out there. So I usually don't read book reviews, but I wanted to read this one after I finished reading it because I wanted to see how many people felt the same way I did. Because as we'll talk about in a minute, my feelings are very conflicted about this book. And there were lots of 5-star reviews because, of course, it's Thomas Harris. Stephen King's absolute shittiest book has tons of 5-star reviews because it's subjective. That's the thing. But there was one review. It was a 2-star review, and it said, "I'll never begrudge anybody the need to make some money, and that's obviously why this book was written." Which, ouch. So yeah, I'm not alone. So that's it. On to the spoilers. If you want to bow out at this time, thank you. I love you. Bye. Let's get on with it. So, Hannibal Rising. I didn't like it, which is weird because I was just speaking with a friend today about this. Thomas Harris, and I've said it before, but God, he's such a good writer. He really, okay, this same exact book could have happened with anybody but Hannibal Lecter in that role. If it was just going to be a World War II revenge story, it would have been fine. There would still be things that I wish Thomas Harris hadn't done. But if it had just been, someone tracking down and taking revenge the way Hannibal does, that would have been a great book. The thing is in this book is, I'm sorry, I'm back on the Diet Coke, so it's gonna be burpy, folks. I'm sorry. I am your very humble, gassy podcaster. So the thing, I get what Thomas Harris was trying to do here with the revenge plot. It isn't so much revenge as his descent. And actually, Thomas Harris, where's my red notebook? I don't know. I will find it, don't you worry. Here's my red notebook. in the Red Notebook, there's another line that came from this book when, oh my god, this old desk, I'm sorry. When he has completed the revenge and when he has kind of completed the cycle of going from damaged child into the monster that we know, he wrote this line. It's fucking fantastic. Hannibal began the cold, dark winter of his heart. Oh, come on. We should all aspire to be like that. It's so simple, but it says something. Just those few words. And that's the magic of Thomas Harris. And because he put that talent to work on this piece of, not dreck, but not good, it's kind of upsetting. Like, if another author who maybe tends to be a little more hit or miss had done this, I don't think it would have been like, well, you win some, you lose some, it happens. But I'm really disappointed in this. And Dr. Josh and I, we've been having this conversation on the Patreon lately about how much we both wish, instead of this book, we had gotten a book about Clarice Starling in the time between The Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, talking about her career and all of the pitfalls she had that made her this jaded, bitter person. Would have totally rather had that book. I still want that book. If anybody knows Thomas Harris, hit him up and tell him so. I will buy it. Okay, so the revenge thing, yes. If we had not done the descent into being the monster, being Hannibal the cannibal, I think as a different book with a different character, it would have been good, because honestly, that whole thing was engaging. I was into it. It was like, ooh, are they going to get him? Because the guys that he goes after are really freaking scary. Like, really freaking scary. And when Hannibal Lecter is one of the main characters in a book and he is not the only scary guy, I mean, it turns out he's the scariest, but not by much. He's just the victorious scary guy at the end. Now, what I will say, and I was thinking this as I was reading it, it seemed like not the brutality, but the way in which we come to know Hannibal as someone who liked to stage dead bodies, obviously the cannibalism. It seems like, especially with the first guy he kills in the woods, when he goes back to that hunting lodge, it seems like that was added as an afterthought. He doesn't eat some of the other guys. I think that's the only one he eats, to be honest. But it seemed like that was like an editor was like, where's the cannibalism? We have to have cannibalism in here somewhere. And he added it. But when he kills the butcher, again, we're being spoilery, the butcher, the one who was so crude to Lady Murasaki, he ate him. But I don't know, it seemed like an afterthought. And I get the whole concept of becoming, of growing into a role and not, automatically just being that. But it just felt kind of wedged in. It felt very stilted, very unnatural to the pacing. And something else I didn't like was the whole thing with Lady Murasaki. Because the whole sexy stepmom thing, I have come, thanks to the movies, we've discussed this, I'm tainted by my bias for the movies, but I've come to expect more from Hannibal Lecter, even a teenage Hannibal Lecter, and I say that as a mother of a teenager. But the whole sexy stepmom thing, that's a category on Pornhub. It's beneath Hannibal Lecter. It's beneath the writings of Thomas Harris, and the whole, sexy stepmom thing. I get what he was going for. I understand. You know, she was his obsession. She was something that was in his every thought. But once he completed the task of getting revenge on those who ate his sister, she suddenly did not hold such a prominent place in his heart anymore, because he had then become the monster. His heart no longer had that kind of place for her anymore. So again, I get it, but that doesn't mean it worked. The ending, when he's at, was it Johns Hopkins? I think it's in Baltimore, so maybe it would be Johns Hopkins, but he's interning there, I think, or he's just straight up working there. And he goes up to Canada, and he's still kind of hunting Nazis or Nazi collaborators. Like, excuse me, I don't like giving Hannibal Lecter good reason to kill. I don't like giving him a crusade like that. I actually quite like the eat the rude kind of thing that he always does, where someone is behaving in a way that is distasteful to him, so he butchers them and makes them more tasteful to him. Literally. I mean, that's the point. That's the thing. By giving him a backstory, by making him a sympathetic character, we lost the plot. And that's no good. Not for Summer. So when I finished with Hannibal and I read the ending, like, I was kind of worked up. I was head up about the ending to that book because the rest of it was so good. I mean, the video's up there. Very, very not happy with the ending. And it wasn't the same kind of like active dislike for Hannibal Rising that I had for the ending of Hannibal, but it's still like, if someone wanted to read the Hannibal series, depending on how close I was to this person, I would say, read all of them with the understanding that the ending of Hannibal is terrible, and don't read Hannibal Rising. I would tell them not to read this book. I don't think it adds to the mythology of Hannibal Lecter. That is a different character than the one we know in previous books. And it didn't work. Not for me. And I mean, obviously, there are lots of people who don't agree with me, like I said, by those Goodreads reviews. And I'm saying this as someone who loves a prequel, who I love an origin story. It is one of my favorite things ever. It didn't work in this case. And maybe it's because of the bad guy thing. And maybe I've talked about this before. I don't like knowing the inner machinations of Hannibal Lecter's mind. He is scarier, and he is actually more interesting as an enigma. So by giving him a backstory, you completely ruin that. So it didn't work for me at all. No. But I really, really enjoyed the first 3 books up to the ending of Hannibal. I had a fantastic time reading these books. I'm going to have to find another series like this to read and talk about with you all, because this was fun. I was having a horrible, horrible reading slump. Like, I'm going to have to double time it to still meet my goal of 35 books read for the year. I'll get it, don't worry. But I'm going to have to find another series. So hit me up, recommend something. Let's see, I obviously like thrillers. I like true crime. I like horror. I do like fantasy, just as long as it's not like one of those series that's like 15 books long. Can we keep it short series? Not a huge fan of sci-fi, but I will try anything. If you recommend it and it comes highly recommended, I'm doing it. So hit me up. Let me know what's a series you'd like to talk about with me, and I'll make videos about it and we'll have discussions. This is fun, you guys, so let's keep doing this. That's it. The children are still outside. I told them they couldn't come in until I was done. They haven't banged on the windows yet, but they're watching me. So I hope all is well. I hope the world is. I don't even know anymore. It sometimes it just seems hopeless, but I hope you find bright spots in the darkness, and I hope you're able to find moments of peace. And I thank you, as always, for being here. Let's get the remote, see how we do. It's always on the second push. So there's the first push,